What's up? What it do? Cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com. AshSaidIt.com. Welcome back to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. We appreciate and love you guys so very much. Thank you for all of the downloads, the shares. Everything makes a huge, huge difference. Today, I am joined by actress, blogger, YouTube extraordinaire, the wonderful Christin Barger. Christine.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm sitting here drinking tea from a crazy cat lady mug. I am happy.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a good afternoon, right? Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Christine, let us know. Where are you from? Where do you represent?
So I currently live in Los Angeles, California, but I grew up in the Midwest in Indiana. I moved out to Los Angeles to pursue a career in making people laugh. That was what I came out here for. I'm an actress in TV and film. I do ventriloquism. I'm online. Basically, I kind of do a lot of everything.
You're doing a lot. As a child, what were your aspirations for a career?
I wanted to be an entertainer since I can remember. I started doing ventriloquism when I was 5 years old as a way to cope with my baby brother being in the hospital. We were at the Ronald McDonald House, and he was at Riley's Children's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little girl who had a gizmo doll. Oh my gosh, I'm totally dating myself right now. But she had a Gremlins doll. And it talked to her, and it wouldn't talk to me. And so I made my teddy bear talk to everybody but this one little girl. It really hurt me that her gizmo wouldn't talk to me. It was my first real experience with bullying. But no, I really did. I was really hurt as a kid because we were going through a lot. My brother's in the hospital, and we weren't at home. We were living at this strange place. And so I made my teddy bear talk to everybody. And then I started doing ventriloquism. Like, I didn't realize it was a thing. I just started doing ventriloquism. And then when my brother passed away, I used it as a coping mechanism. I had this special friend, my puppets and my toys. And then my parents helped me get on stage in front of an audience, and I performed when I was like 7 years old at a festival, and everybody wanted to know who was doing the voice. They didn't realize I was really doing it. And then I went from there to doing children's parties and Shriners Grief Camps for kids who lost loved ones, and I realized I could inspire other kids who were dealing with the stuff I'd been through. And that was the moment that I said, I am going to do this for my career. This is my life. I'm going to make people forget that they have trouble, and I'm going to give them an escape for a few minutes where they laugh and they're happy, and they just forget that everything else could suck right now. Yeah. But in that moment, they're going to forget that, and they're going to laugh. So.
I love that. That's a beautiful story. Yes, we need more positive energy, and everyone's going through something these days. And the fact that you could bring people joy through the ventriloquism is amazing. I tip my hat to you. That's a beautiful, beautiful
I do it with the acting, too. Like, everything kind of stems from that place. Like, all of the weird stuff that I do on the internet or in movies and TV, I tend to play really strange characters that make people laugh, whether I intend to or not. And sometimes even when I intend to, it's a little hard for me to accept. Like, the very first time I watched myself in a movie where I came on screen and the entire audience started laughing and I hadn't said anything yet, it kind of hurt my feelings for a second. I was like, wait, you're laughing at me, not with me. I didn't do anything funny yet. That's just me. And then I realized, like, well, that's because that's my essence. Like, I just am kind of weird and silly, and that's okay because that's what I bring to the world and society, and that's good.
This is true. What was the transition like for you to LA?
Oh, that was not easy. No. Moving to LA it's not easy when you're by yourself. I suppose if you have a whole family moving out, it might be easier. I mean, moving in general is never really easy, and I don't ever think it's very fun. You've got to pack stuff up, decide what you're going to leave behind, because you can never have enough room for everything, especially moving to, Los Angeles, where I'm moving into a tiny apartment, and coming from a big, farmhouse back in the Midwest with all this stuff. And so I packed up a truck, and I drove to Vegas, and I stopped in Vegas, and then I came on to LA. I had someone helping me drive out, and then he flew back. And then I went to my last quarter, I guess, of college. Technically, I was on the semester system, but I was doing a transfer for like a study abroad, but within the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's not called study abroad. It's exchange program. I was on an exchange program.
Okay.
And I did my last quarter at Cal State. And while I was there, I had an audition. I didn't have an agent yet or anything. I had an audition. So I went to this audition, and I booked my very first role in a movie called Along Came Polly. And it was shooting between Christmas and New Year. So I went home for Christmas, and I came back early, and I had to find an apartment because I was living on campus. And so I moved everything to an apartment, and then I stayed here. I hadn't really known if I was going to do that. I was still deciding between New York, Chicago, and LA. And I booked a role, so I came out here, and then I shot the movie, and then I stayed, and then I didn't work again for like, I don't know, a year and a half maybe.
Wow.
I just didn't. I mean, I worked like doing temp work and doing background work in movies, but I didn't know how to be an actor, even though that's what I studied in school for 5 years. It's not the same. What you learn in class about how to, emote or, reach that place where you can find the humor in a scene, that's not how to get a job in LA as an actor. Like, that's a different skill. And so I really didn't know how to get an agent or anything, and I kind of went about everything the wrong way, and it all worked out, luckily, by the grace of God. Like, I just sent postcards out when the movie came out, and I said, hey, I'm in this movie, I need an agent. And, I got a bunch of calls. They were like, come meet with us. And then I was so green. I had no idea what I was doing. And then I booked a bunch of roles later, kind of back to back. And I had been working a temp job in real estate. So I quit and decided to get a part-time job as a dancing monkey. So I worked at Universal Studios as Curious George in their trolley show to make ends meet. And then I became an agent for a while. And, it's just this crazy, LA is a crazy place. And if you're out here to be an actor, chances are you're doing anything but acting while you're starting out. And then I was in class and everything, but it was so hard. I didn't know what to do. I mean, my apartment got broken into, my very first apartment, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't call the police. I called a friend and went over and stayed at their place and waited till the next day, hoping the person had left. I would stay up all night and just watch my door so nobody would break in. Because someone had, and I had chairs propped up against the doors, I had bars on my windows, but I'd stay up all night. I had no furniture, I couldn't afford furniture. I had a mattress on a box spring, and my laptop on the floor. It was awful. But it was good, because it's a learning experience, but it wasn't easy. People think, oh, you moved to LA, you have some money stored up, a couple $1,000, you'll be fine. No, a couple $1,000 is just your first month.
Yeah, but what you're sharing...
And that was back then.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like now. I can't imagine moving here now. It's so expensive.
No, but what you're sharing, what you're talking about, that is the real life stuff that you're not going to hear Sigourney Weaver talking about this, even though I know that she had also a rough time as well. But you're not going to hear a lot of these actors talk about what it was before they were the one name person, the Jennifer Aniston. She's not going to talk about this stuff. Not that she doesn't want to talk about it, but that's not what it's going to be promoted about her brand. We know Jennifer Aniston for Friends. We know her from the different movies and things of that nature. But it's a struggle. Unless your last name is Kardashian or something, it's going to be a struggle to actually to grit and grind and to be doing that stuff. And I commend you. I tip my hat to you, because I have friends that are in the industry that have gone to LA and different cities of that nature, and they're pretty gut-wrenching stories, because for whatever reason, it's fantasized that, oh, go to LA and be an actor and woo-de-woo. You got to be a waitress. You got to hold signs off in the street. You need to go work at Walmart part-time. You got to figure out you have to figure all that stuff out, and especially, being a single female in any major city like that. So, I commend you on that. And now, look, your career has blossomed tremendously. You are known in and throughout the industry, and you continue to get that name into circulation. And we're going to see you in some more stuff. We're going to see you. Coming out soon.
And I don't have to stare out my door every night worrying,
That too.
worrying that someone's breaking in because I live in a nice area now. Like
Yeah.
I can afford to be in a decent apartment with my cats and my husband, and I'm, much more comfortable. When you first start out, you don't always have that luxury. And you're right, people don't talk about that. When you're a single woman or, moving to a city, if you're not from a city, you hear the stories, but it doesn't register until you're running to your truck. At the time I had a truck. I drove a truck in LA. Who does that? But I was running to my truck trying to escape a gang that was rocking the truck because they thought it was funny to harass me. And having homeless people walk up to you on your way home, squirting you in the eyes with syringes, and you're like, what just happened? Do I have to go to the ER? I can't afford to go to the ER. It's a crazy place, and you don't think about it'll happen to you because you're like, no, those are just crazy stories. But they happen to somebody, and it could be you.
It happens in this world. All right, Christine, we're going to take a brief break. When we come back, because, we've just scraped the surface a little bit. We just kind of grazed it some. When we come back, we're going to talk about this acting thing and this internet thing. We had a sidebar conversation, so we're going to jump into the nitty gritty of it. All right. So you guys hang tight. We'll be right back. Did you know that some foods can cause weight gain, body aches, and extreme fatigue? These are just some of the symptoms of food intolerance. Well, what is food intolerance? Food intolerance can occur when the body cannot properly digest certain foods. This can result in acid reflux, migraines, and so many other painful issues. How do you find out what foods are causing this irritation? It's easy. Pinner Test. With 500,000 satisfied clients worldwide, Pinner Test is the #1 way of identifying foods that may be causing discomfort. This simple at-home kit is easy to use with results usually within 2 weeks via email. It's that simple, all right? What are you waiting for? Go visit pinnertest.com and use my special promo code AshSaidIt for your discount today. What's up, what it do, Cyber World? It's your girl, AshSaidIt.com. We are chilling out here talking to Christin Barger. She's out there in beautiful LA. And I just will say, Christine, I love the weather in LA. I love the weather. The real estate is real ridiculous. But the wind, y'all have a beautiful wind that just kind of just blows through. No matter where you are in the city, it just kind of just blows. It's just very soothing and just very relaxed. Unless you're in traffic, because y'all's traffic, I would not trade that for Atlanta in the least. I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. Can't talk me into it.
Oh,
nope.
No, our traffic is ridiculous.
It's
not even you can't even understand it till you've experienced it. And even then, you forget how bad it is till you're in it again. And you're like, wait, I knew it was going to be bad. Why is it taking me 2 hours to go for 10 miles? What is this?
I don't know. I mean, because it's just so doggone beautiful over there. People want to be there. Of course. Why would they not want to? I'm like, it's starting to get that way here in Atlanta. Anywhere that you need to get to, in the perimeter, before you'd be like, okay, about 45 minutes or so. Now it's okay, let me plan 2 hours ahead. And then you're like, okay, let me plan 2 hours ahead so I can get in a decent, space in traffic. I'm still going to sit for another hour. But, I need people to stop moving to Atlanta. Please, Atlanta, we're full. No more. We can't take any more people. No more transplants. We're closing shop. That's it. Okay, so
we tried that. It didn't work.
Didn't work. Oh my gosh! All right,
no, but Atlanta's beautiful. We went to Atlanta, and you're right. People were like, "Oh, you better leave time for traffic," and so we did. We're like, "Wait, there was no traffic. What are you talking about? This wasn't traffic."
Well, and compared to what you guys have, yeah, that's not. It's not traffic at all.
But it's getting there. The industry's moving there. Getting more people, getting more actors.
Yeah. Well, we got the title finally. For last year as the #1 place for filming in the world. More films and TV shows were filmed in Georgia than anywhere else in the world. And I'm like, that's getting scary because now I don't want that LA traffic coming. Y'all can keep that, Christine. I'm telling you. Keep it. Keeping that. All right. So I wanted to jump into this because we had an off-bar conversation earlier about being a professional actor in the industry and having a social presence. And you were telling me about how you've got your resume good. You got your cards and everything of that nature. Headshots are set up, but your management or maybe some of your team don't really look at social media as being something that is important at this moment. How do you feel about the exchange between the world of acting and the internet?
Well, I think it's just a difficult thing for me to understand and change and grow with it, as it is, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
When something happens that's completely different than what you've known your whole life, where the internet just kind of came out of nowhere, and suddenly it went from being this kind of fun little thing that we use to look a couple things up online or whatever, like, to this is how we live our lives. We live it on the internet a lot of the time. And it was very hard because I learned everything about the industry and how to be an actor, and I had taken all of these classes and moved to Los Angeles. I learned as much as I could. I got into, like I said, I was an agent for a while. I headed up the kids department of an agency, and I understood all the ins and outs of how the entertainment world was working. I even worked in casting, and then suddenly you were doing submissions online instead of by courier, and then suddenly you didn't even really need physical headshots anymore. And it just happened so quick. And it changed. I mean, it felt like overnight. I'm sure it took a couple months, but it just felt like it went from this is how we do things to we have a brand new way of doing things. And not everybody was on board right away, because realize a lot of the casting directors who do film and television have been doing this their whole lives, basically. And they're established, and they're very accustomed to using physical headshots and having filing cabinets so they know how to get a hold of everybody, and things taking a day or two. And now sometimes the breakdown will come out in the morning, and the auditions will be late morning, early afternoon, and they may be on set that night. That never could happen before because we didn't have a way to communicate that quickly. And if you were the person getting booked that day for something, it was because somebody already knew you and they were calling your agent saying, can you get them on the phone and ask them if they're available tonight? There wasn't an audition process necessarily because they didn't have time for that. You might even self-tape in your own living room for an audition for something that shoots tomorrow. And it's so fast.
Yeah.
And I thought when I did American Pie Beta House, I thought that moved fast. I mean, the casting process took forever because I interviewed, and a month later I found out that I booked the role. But from the time I found out to the time I had to be in Canada, I only had, I think, a week or a week and a half. And I was like, how am I going to get everything ready to be gone for 3 months in a week? And now it's much faster than that even. And that was only a few years ago. So it's just changed. The internet has changed the industry. And then you add in the fact that there are all these people who now have easy access to cameras that are 4K quality. And they're, on their phone, so they can do their own shows on the internet, and they don't need to go through the process of a casting director, a producer, a network. They're just making it themselves and putting it on the internet, and the people are finding them. And they're blowing up, and then they're getting their own movies from their show, or their own show, like Miranda, who did her own show for years. And don't get me wrong, I think Colleen is incredibly talented.
Yes.
I don't want to underplay the fact that she is very talented, and she has put in the time and work and effort, and she deserves to have her own show. I really do believe that. Hold on. I have cats. But I can't say enough that, she deserves all of the wonderful things that are happening to her. But there are a lot of people who didn't necessarily put in the time and effort, and don't necessarily have the skill set or the understanding of what it is that, the benefit that they're getting. They don't appreciate it because they didn't work for it. They just somehow lucked out. And they're charismatic people, and they just manage to get these huge followings on social media, and then they go and do things that are crazy, like stunts, and I don't want to call anybody out specifically, but I'm sure that you can think of a few.
Oh, yeah.
There's one in the news right now. And, and I'm not saying they don't deserve what they're getting, but at the same time, it's a different world, and it's a different different types of people are being idolized by the youth and looked up to, and I moved out here and worked very hard so that I could be a role model. And then I look at who the role models are on social media and the internet and YouTube, and I go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why is that person a role model? What did they do to get that they shouldn't necessarily, they didn't work for it.
No.
And they didn't go about it the same way. And it's hard to kind of accept that there are so many people, I mean thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who've been putting in years and years and years of their life to get that place in a career that some of these people on the internet can do in a year or two.
Yeah, it's just...
I have no idea the magic that they're using. I don't know if they sold their soul to Satan. I don't know. But somehow they magically have blowed up on the internet, and they lack the training, the skill set, and it's a different skill set.
Yeah, it's just...
And it's hard to watch it switch and shift.
It's crazy. It really is crazy because, like you said, there's so many people out now. Like you said, if they have a camera or they have a special app or whatever, you know, they can do whatever and just be everywhere. But the line has been blurred as far as... I don't want to offend anybody, but the line has been blurred as far as serious actors, people that are actors, and then people that just kind of, well, they do some stuff and they luck out, not taken away from those that have worked hard for those positions. I'm not saying that. But there are some people that are being highlighted on social media that haven't done the work. You get me?
Right.
And they don't know the grit and the grind that it takes to be a true actor, like a real actor. Someone that has, like yourself, has gone through the training. You have been on those auditions, countless auditions, you know, to get those few callbacks and then to book those roles. So it's
such a different world, and it's hard to accept because in LA, granted, it's not just talent. It is who you know. It's a different game. It's a lot of who you know, what name you're born with, that sort of thing as well. But there's a certain amount of, if you put in the time and effort, eventually it will pay off.
Yeah.
And on the internet, that's not always the case. And sometimes it pays off in weird ways, like my friend Hannah, who has been putting in years of being on the internet and doing things, and she works very hard, but yet the time that everyone notices her is when she accidentally burns her hair off. Like, that's what made her popular? Mm-mm. Why is that what made her popular? She's done all this other hard work. Mm-mm. And then that was the one thing. Like, it's strange, the things that people get known for and how the internet works. And it's unpredictable. At least for me, it feels very unpredictable. I don't know if it is, but it seems like where in the entertainment world, there was like, you could watch people grow. You'd say, they've been out here for 5 years doing co-stars. They're about to blow up. And then in the next year, they would blow up.
Yeah. And
it was more predictable, and there was a logic behind it, where the internet is very hard to kind of understand, I guess, for me.
It is. And it's like, unfortunately, a lot of the negative things, like you said, like Hannah, a lot of the negative things are highlighted. No one wants to highlight, oh, well, this person just went back and got their master's degree, or they just booked a really awesome gig, or they started their own movie company. But the minute that something negative happens, it's almost like they want to praise the negative works over the positive things that are happening. And it's just, I guess, really just finding your own balance in all the madness, because people are crazy. People are crazy around the bat. I've just gone to understand that. I've digested it, and I let people be themselves. That is pretty much my logic. I just let them be themselves, because there are so many people out here in this world that are just negative. There's so many people that are unhappy. There's so many people that don't want to see the light shine in you. So you have to make it your personal purpose to live out your dreams. And go ahead.
And that's definitely true. I think on the question they actually asked me about, like, my agents and managers not understanding how important social media is, I think part of it is that they, like me, still can't grasp that the internet is a real place to make money. I'm now understanding it much more, but it's very hard because it doesn't seem real that someone could do a prank video, a really mean prank video sometimes, and make thousands of dollars in a couple of hours through AdSense on YouTube, because that's not how we were trained growing up that life works.
Yeah.
Like, you worked really hard to earn your place, and that was always the way that that we grew up knowing things. That's how life worked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the internet and the millennials that you could just do one thing, get lucky, and make thousands of dollars. And I think that they have a really hard time understanding that social media is very, very important. And I think that the industry is still fighting YouTube and fighting the internet and saying, no, we don't want to be that. We're our own thing. When in reality, we have to blend and merge at some point. And I think it's starting. I think last year it really started with the YouTube Red stuff and everything. Kind of people were watching shows instead of just 2-minute videos where someone was, crying about whatever thing, or it changed. It started to kind of merge more.
Yeah.
And so it is important that we start to understand and give respect to both industries, because really they are just one industry.
Yeah. That is essentially. Last but certainly not least, Christine, what advice would you offer to any new and aspiring actors in 2018 and beyond?
Oh, goodness. So I had a professor in college who told me the best advice, and it sounds really negative, but it's not. If you want to be an actor, really think about it. If anything else makes you happy besides being an actor, go do that thing. Because if you are not 100% passionate and you need to do this with your life, it's really not worth it. It's a lot of work for very little payoff, and it's so few people that become the next Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise, that if that's what you're in it for, then it's the wrong business for you. Go do something else. But if you have passion for anything else, you'll probably be happier in that industry. Like, if you want to teach people, go be a teacher. Like, don't be an actor because you're going to be famous or for the money, because that's not, it's just not what people should do it for. You have to do it because you're so passionate about it, you just aren't happy doing anything else. And that's what you wake up in the morning wanting to do. And then if that's how you feel about it, and that's what you really want to do, then just do it, stick with it, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's your passion, follow your heart. That's what you should do.
That's it. Loving that. Christine, let everyone know the best way to get in contact with you, to follow you, all that good stuff.
Okay, well, you can follow me on the internet, on Twitter and Snapchat and Facebook and Musical.ly. Please follow me on Musical.ly. I create content. I do 3 to 5 short videos a day on Musical.ly. And all of those, I am Christin Barger, all one word. Christin Barger, all one word. And then on Instagram, I am Christin Barger Official. If you like cats, my cats also have Instagram and Twitter and Musical.ly. They are Bagheera Fun, all one word. And I am also really, really excited this year. I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on my blog, The Haunt Girl. So you can find all of the stuff I do with escape rooms and haunted houses. It's kind of my hobby, but it's become a little bit more than a hobby these days. And if you're interested in anything in that world, I'm the Haunt Girl on all social media platforms. So there's all of that, and hopefully this year you'll be hearing about Ava Vence. That is a character that I'm creating, and hopefully we'll start creating content for by the end of the month. And she's got her own YouTube channel. So if you like Miranda sings, she's my inspiration. So Ava Vence will be my newest thing that I take on this year. So.
Awesome sauce. We appreciate that so much, Christine. Thank you for sharing some real raw. I like the fact that you gave it to us for real. You didn't sugarcoat it. You didn't patty cake with us. No, no. You gave us the real deal, and I love you for that. So keep that going.
I just
Keep
wish
that
somebody
fire.
would have done that for me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna move to LA. It's gonna be easy.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I'll
wonderful.
be famous in a year.
It's work. You have no idea. I mean, it's so disillusioning to watch, because there was a point where I was pursuing the acting thing as well here, but it just turned out it wasn't for me. I didn't have that passion, that fire for it. And like you said, if you don't have that fire for it, you need to figure something else out. You took the words right from me, because it was heart attack for me. I spent out dozens of, I can't even tell you how much money I spent out on classes and headshots and specialty. Oh, this is going to make you. You're going to be the best model. You're going to be the best actress. Oh, la-di-da, give us all your money. And I did. I gave Mom a little bit of money, all little chump change I had in the bank. And I went on hundreds of auditions. I probably went on anywhere from 200 to 300 different auditions. Out of those auditions, I may have had 20 callbacks. Out of those 20 callbacks, I booked like maybe three parts, and one of them was canceled last minute. So it's a lot of work for, like you said, very little return. So you have to you got to be in love with it. You have to like live it, breathe it. It's got to be flowing through your veins. It has to.
Yes.
And
don't tell anybody you're going to be on anything, and you're going to be on it for sure. Because you cancel all the time. It's the worst when you're like, oh, watch me tonight on the show, and then you watch, you're like, oh, they cut me out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Something like that happens. Oh, it's the worst.
That is exactly what happened with it. But no, I definitely appreciate you, Christina. We definitely will keep in contact. Now you have an ATL, you got some more ATL connections, and I got some more LA connections. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. Next time I come out to Atlanta to play Escape Room or go see Netherworld.
Oh my God. You gotta come. Oh my gosh. This year they're having the new one. They're building, Netherworld is moving. Last year was
a new location. We came specifically to see Netherworld because it was the last year at that location. Yes. So we came at Halloween time. I travel all over the U.S. at Halloween for the whole month of October looking at haunted houses and escape rooms. But Netherworld has an escape room, and you should play the Sasquatch room. This is not sponsored. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
No, I definitely,
It may or may not have Sasquatches.
Good to know.
It's pretty impressive. I was impressed by it. Let's just say, and I've done over 300 escape rooms. So if you can impress me, that's a big deal.
That's pretty awesome. All right. And keep in mind, everyone, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face and tell them, don't believe me, just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for. We're doing this for the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.